Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday Eve. It is the Jammin Jukebox-radio show, and I'm your host, DJ Delta Dom. And, oh, gosh, I don't know about you, but I am thrilled to pieces that we're on the verge of it being Friday and the weekend. I always get stoked around this time every week. I think half the world does, knowing that we're going into a weekend. But, yeah, I think it's finally turned spring, so that's going well. And so we're just really glad that the week is almost over. It's been a week, by the way. But tonight we're extremely excited because we've got a band, and it kind of showed up on our radar screen a little while ago, and I've been listening to their music. We've been promoted here on our radio show on Saturday nights, and also we've added it to rotation on our radio station. So, but they are awesome. Their musical style is kind of it's just a little bit of everything. But when I first listened to their sound, I was like, it takes me back to the 80s, very retro, and I love it. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Japan Soul, Jason, David, and Dave. Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi. How is everyone? You're all sounding loud and clear. Thank you so very much for being with us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. I am thrilled to pieces to have you guys on because when I first listened to your music, I was like, whoa, I had to kind of stop and listen because I thought for a moment that I was kind of catapulted back into the 80s. I mean, this was like, really? This is so cool, And I guess right out of the gate, I want to ask you guys about your musical sound. How did you guys come up with the sound that you have?
We built a time machine. And, we went back.
Well, see, now we know.
Three mad scientists.
Yeah, no, I think we just do what we like. I think when you said 80s, Dave Lipp's in the room with me. He just pointed at me and started laughing at me. So I think I'm guilty of. I guess I just really love that sound.
Jason has been stalking the 80s since the late 90s. And then me and Dave, we just kind of we take what he has and just turn it upside down. Try to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it starts with 80s and ends with 80s.
Well, that's okay.
Jason will come in with either like the song like half completed or like a demo of it. One of our songs, one of the forthcoming songs, Hey, he came in with the demo, and I said it's ready. Well, I didn't really think it needed anything, and then we started adding saxophone and everything. So we'll hear that one, and I don't know, when's that coming out, Jason?
We're working maybe a month or two.
We're working on it.
We're working on the funding to put that out. We have a video coming out. But
yeah. So anyhow, usually they just already sound like 80s right out of his mind, and we just add a little bit more. We add, if it sounds like 1981, then we add a little 85 to it.
I think that's awesome. and I love, the music for me. I mean, I grew up an 80s girl. Now, I was not one of your Valley girls that, dressed like Cyndi Lauper or anything, but I loved 80s music. And I loved it, and it was just, and it's kind of funny because once the 90s, came into play, the 80s kind of were lost, somewhere out there, So it's really refreshing to have a band like you guys that are willing to kind of go backwards a little bit, yet it be relevant to today. And so that's, that is really cool because you don't hear music like this in this day and time. And when I think about the generations that have evolved after me, I'm thinking they don't even. If you were to say to my children, do you know what the 80s is? The 80s music is. They would probably look at me like I was insane. Like, what are you talking about?
I think most people don't know what anymore.
I'm sorry, what?
I said I think most kids today don't even know what 90s music sounds like.
Yeah.
Let alone the 80s.
Well, they probably wouldn't know what 90s music sounded like either. I mean, they're so here and now and today. So, they would probably be really looking at me strangely like, gosh. And then their next remark would be, Mom, you're old. So, it's like my parents all over again. But anyway, to get a little background on you guys, how long have you been together, and how did you come together as a band?
I guess we got to go into the time machine a little bit. I met Roz, I called Dave Rozner Roz.
There's too many games in this band.
So I met Roz when I was in my first band. It was called Music for Girls. I was more like a new wave punk band, and Roz had a band called The Vitamin, and we took a liking to each other's music, and we would gig a lot. And I guess we became friends, and after those bands ended, we started a first version of Japan Soul. It was spelled a little differently. And DaVe Lipp joined up, and that was in 2007.
Yeah, there was about 6 people in that band.
Yeah, it was
pretty large.
It was like more of like it was almost like a 70s kind of sound. It was like a Springsteen sound going on there. But so we put an album out actually in 2007, but I went traveling for a year, so I guess the momentum kind of left that band.
Yeah.
But we've been making music since 2007. Yeah.
Yeah. Took a break.
Wow.
And then last year, Jason was like, "Oh, here's like a couple of songs with me and Roz," and we were just like, "Let's work on them." And we were gonna put out an EP. Then we were like, "We should put out 2 EPs." Then I was like, "We should just put out an album." That's like our goal. We've just been working hardcore for the last 6 months.
I think it's longer than that, but it's actually
yeah.
Well,
there we go.
I think it's awesome that you guys have been together. And as I was reading your biography recently, I was quite impressed with kind of where you've been and all the things that you've done. Just in the interim, even when you were you're on break and you were kind of all doing your own thing, but yet you'd come back together again to make I guess a new version of Japan Soul. And so my next question is, where did you come up with the name Japan Soul?
Okay, it's for real. My name's Jason Paul. So I'll let you think that first.
Let me get you to cut down. Let me get you to cut down the volume if you're listening to the interview online. Cut it down just a little bit because I'm getting some reverb back through.
Yeah, I'm not. Is this better?
Yeah, it is better actually.
Okay, I turned the volume on my phone. I guess it helps.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Perfect.
Yeah, so my name's Jason Paul, and if you think about Jason Paul, it's like an anagram. If you twist up the letters in Jason Paul, you somehow get Japan Soul.
Yes, you do. It took me a second, but I get that. I get it, And because the first time, and of course, what's jumping out in my mind when you say that is your Twitter. Your Twitter is JPNSL, and so that's kind of what comes to mind when you were saying that. And so yeah, I mean, I can see where the correlation is for sure. Now, let's talk about your most recent release, Transparent. Talk a little bit about the inspiration for the song and kind of the meaning behind it.
Whoa. It's going to be pretty loaded. I should have sent you the lyrics. The lyrics are, it's sort of like a critique on our social media lifestyle. And I think if you listen to the lyrics a few times, you'll kind of pick up on that we're living in this strange world, and the word transparent is we have no privacy and everybody can see through you basically. So I guess that's kind of where we're coming from with the meaning of the song.
Oh yeah, and definitely we are so heavily entrenched in social media that really, you're right. I mean, almost on a daily basis now, you can find out just about anything you want by doing a search. And, not only that, but the media, they get a lot of their information from, doing searches and going on fact-finding missions. And, it's just, everything is just so out there front and center. And it really has gotten to a point where, that there is no privacy anymore. And you know, my adage that I've always said to you know, my kids in particular, I'm like, you know, unless you want the world to know, don't put it on social media. You know,
yeah,
and that's kind of the way it's become. You know, so that's a great concept. Now, you know, talk about some of the other music that you've got in the works at the moment. Now, you mentioned that you've got a new record that'll be coming out sometime in the very near future, correct?
Yeah, probably in the fall.
Yeah, later this year, September.
Yeah, we're about 7 songs complete of 10, so we're close.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we want it when you get it ready, you know, for radio play. We'll be happy to release it and promote it for you guys.
We haven't even brought up the heavy guns.
Now, the first single that you sent me was Plastic Utopia, and ever since, I mean, I love the song. That was when I first, you know, really said, my gosh, this band is just so cool, you know. But I have been curious about the title and the song. I mean, sometimes I listen to lyrics and I try to make sense of them, but how I may interpret it may be completely different from the next person. So talk a little bit about, first of all, the title. I mean, where did you come up with the title, Plastic Utopia? Because before I ever heard the song, I'm thinking that's so 80s retro. I mean, even the title fits 80s music. And then I heard the song and I was like, oh my gosh, this is, you know, it's just kind of like a match made in heaven. So where did that all come from?
That's a very good question. I sometimes can't remember where it came from. But I guess, you know, like, I think I wrote that song like around the Occupy Wall Street time, and that's probably just what was swimming in my head, and it sort of like brought this idea of like the world we're living in it's just like upside down. Like it's not like we're living in an alternate reality, but except we're actually not even an alternate reality. It's the reality we're living in. So it's sort of like, and like the utopia, I guess, you know, plastic utopia. You know, it's just sort of like everything is sort of fake, and I don't know. You know, help me out here. It's like stream of consciousness, you know. But it's sort of like a landscape painting of the present, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, and that's true. I mean, when you break it down that way, we are kind of, especially in the wave of social media. Again, we go back to that. But when you think about it, you know, anybody sitting behind a computer screen can be pretty much whoever they want to be. You know, they can make their fake Facebook profiles and social media profiles across the board and be whoever they want to be, never revealing their true selves or persona.
You're making me think of that MTV show Catfish right now.
I know. And by the way, speaking of MTV, or no, it wasn't MTV, it was VH1 some years ago. What was the show where they had the little word bubbles that popped up throughout the video?
Pop-up video.
Yes. I mean, like, I could so see your stuff on that show, and there'd be, like, little pop-ups all throughout.
I want to know what they would say.
Hey, now there's an idea for a video. For one of your songs. You could do the pop-up video thing, and you could give, like,
I think
little
you just figured out our video for us.
Oh, did I?
That'd be awesome. We might steal that idea.
We might steal that idea.
Oh, look, my ideas are your ideas, you know. But let me see, when we're off air, I'll be emailing you and let you know where to send the royalty check. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking. But, no, seriously, I mean, that concept would so fit your music because, you know, that, first of all, anytime someone hears your music, they're gonna go, oh, my gosh, I'm so back in the 80s, 90s, you know, era of my life. But to have a video that would kind of coincide with that would be just completely awesome. And it's not anything you see anymore. I mean, the days of true videos, like we knew it back in the early MTV days when MTV was born, are long gone. I know it is a travesty what MTV has become compared to what
people don't even buy music that much anymore, which is like crazy. Let alone like watch videos.
Yeah, I
think
know.
People watch videos on YouTube, but.
Yeah, they do.
But it's more like promo than like, you know, oh my God, you know, like Thriller. I mean, that's
right.
That's like the epitome of like the perfect like music video.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is people have stopped making videos like that for any number of reasons. And I think if that sort of thing were brought back to the forefront, people would watch. I mean, even if it ended up just being on YouTube, when you think about how big YouTube is now compared to what it was, YouTube in a way is kind of the new MTV. Because, you know, especially for music artists who are still believing that making a music video to go along with their songs, you know, is so critical. So it's not a lost art in terms of that, but people, you know, have gotten away from it. But I think it's because the entertainment factor is no longer there in videos anymore. But, you guys
people want to see people kicking each other in the balls. We should just do that. That would be like, we get like 1 million hits like right away.
Yeah. See, there you go. See, your train of thought is just rolling. So now, speaking of videos, while we're talking, you know, while we're on the subject, are you guys planning to do a video for any of your music in the near future?
We already have one in the can, and it's already completed for our next single. It's just a matter of getting the funds together to release it, but we're close. Yeah. So hopefully in the next month or two.
Yeah, and that is what is such a, you know, bites so badly about being an indie artist, because, you know, the funding is just not always easy to put your hands on. But I can tell you guys that, you know, I think indie music and the kind of music that you're making is undoubtedly some of the best music I've ever heard in my life.
Wow, thank you. High praise.
Thank you.
I say that because, you know, if you ever listen to mainstream radio for long enough, I mean, now in this day and time, you can listen for about 15, 20 minutes, and you're getting kind of the same, you know, prepackaged sound over and over again. But with indie music, there's no limit to what an artist can do. The sky's the limit, and the creativity factor just goes through the roof. And so, you know, indie musicians and artists are truly running circles around your mainstream people who are on these major record labels, because the record labels are doing what they think society thinks.
Right. We're not tied to
it's the big great thing, but in truth, the record labels do not have a clue what they're missing out on. I have said time and again that the indie music world is, you know, the music industry's unintentional best-kept secret, and because it really is. It's a gold mine of just music that is just waiting to be heard. And
I think that's the beauty of the indie scene. It's like when you have no money, you have no restrictions, and you can do what you want. And yeah, like you said, with, you know, the indie scene, the DIY scene is definitely the best-kept secret, because they're secretly listening to, like, you know, bands like us, or, you know, other bands that are just doing their thing and putting out great music, and then trying to copy, but not as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. But that's the thing, you know. Even by comparison, there is no comparison, in my opinion, to mainstream music. I mean, mainstream music has these specific genres, and there's just these guidelines for what can be put out for society to hear. But I've noticed in the indie scene, you have people that are in different genres, but the music is so diverse, you know, and so different from, one sound is so different from the next. And people don't feel like they're packaged in and they're boxed into a particular sound, or that they've got to reach, you know, a certain level in order to be heard or to be seen, you know, by those who like their music. And so that is the beauty of it. It just,
absolutely,
it just paid, you know. But in a lot of ways, even though the downfall is that, you know, you guys don't have a major record label backing you and financing you and sending you on tour and, you know, and this and that, I think that the way that social media has evolved to what it is, the opportunities to promote yourself and your music and get it out there are like never before. You know, it's unbelievable what has happened, you know, with the indie music scene, and it wouldn't be as big as it is if it weren't for social media. You know, so, and I tell you, if I was the owner of a major record label, I'd be a little nervous in this day and time with the indie, because the indie music scene is coming on strong, and every day it's growing, and new artists are adding to it, and a lot of artists out there, I think, are figuring out that they can do this. There are ways around it without having to, you try to achieve the ultimate, which is to try to get picked up by a major record label. And,
right, but also the opposite end of that is, when you have every single person who can play music putting out music, it's really hard to get heard by people. So I mean, but yeah, you're right. Like social media is like, I mean, I have like 5,000 friends that I don't even know, that like my music or like what I'm complaining about. It's like an instant audience.
Well, let me clarify something for you from someone who sits in my position, and believe me, I'm a nobody, and I'm a blip on the radar screen in the radio music world, or the radio world. But I can tell you that for me personally, I'm always looking for that music that I know people are going to love, people are going to want to listen to, not just because I listen to it and like it, but it's because, I'm of the belief that it needs to be heard. And yes, there is a lot of artists that are putting their stuff out there and to be heard, but the beauty of it for radio DJs like me is that there's so much of it. It's endless. I mean, yeah. I would never have to worry about not having a radio show. I mean,
and that's why you're important.
They're evolving daily. I mean,
out to the masses.
Well, the thing about it is that it's a great thing for me because I'm able to, put it out there and get the music out and let it be heard to a level that otherwise maybe couldn't be. But it also opens doors because I've seen that, as I watch on social media and Twitter's flying, I see other radio shows similar to mine are doing the same thing, which I think is awesome because the more you can be heard on various stations and shows and things, the more it's repetitious, and then people become, familiar with your name, and then they become familiar with your music, and the next thing you know, you've got this huge following, and you never had to sign a major record contract to get it. And you just said you got 5,000 friends that you didn't know you had. You don't even know.
That's Dave's personal collection of friends. Japan Soul's working.
Collect friends.
We're maybe at the cusp of 400 Facebook fans or something.
Yeah, but that's like, 2 months since we started a Facebook page?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it is crazy, but that, again, is the beauty of social media. It's like, and I can tell you from playing your music here on our show, we've gotten some really great feedback. And people are like, who is that band? Oh, my gosh, it's 80. I mean, they have kind of the same impression I had because you cannot turn on a mainstream radio station anywhere in this country and hear what you guys are putting out. Why? I don't know. It should be on mainstream radio.
Because we're not paying for it.
I'll have to write a song about it.
There you go. Write a song about it, and then do a pop-up video and be done with it.
Pop-up video.
There you go. You've even got that whole pop-up video thing down. Gosh, you're so 80s, you people.
We're gonna have to change the name of that so we don't get sued. The posted video. There you go.
So what other great things have you guys got coming down the pipes in 2013? I know you're going to be releasing another record, but are you going to be touring? Are you going to be playing in your local area? What have you got going on?
Well, there's only 3 of us, and you probably noticed we put a lot of stuff in our music, so we have to figure out how to play these songs. So I think
we're going to spend the summer doing
during this summer we're going to start practicing on figuring out how we can put on a show with a limited group of people making a lot of sound.
That is very true, and that would be good, so we can get you on the road and get you live in front of audiences. Because I can tell you, I would love to hear your sounds, that you created in the studio live. I think it would be just so neat to hear that because I think sometimes it is always neat to hear, recorded music and that's been done in the studio. But man, there is no compare to hearing it live. Because I think that's when you really get to see what artists are made of, and the way your sound is, like you said, there's just so much instrumentation. It would really be neat to see that perform live. So you guys get to work.
Yeah,
we got a busy summer ahead of us.
That's our project. We've got
I would love it.
I would love it.
So tell me again, what is the name of the next record that's going to be out?
I think we're going to call the record Plastic Utopia as well as, the single is like the the song, and then the record will be
kind of
called
summarizes what the songs were putting together are about.
Very good, very good. Well, I'm excited for you guys. I know that it's going to be a great album. I really, really believe that, because first couple songs that I've heard are just, amazing, and I love that sound. The fact that, you guys have brought something back that the majority of the music world thought was lost, and so it's nice to see that it's back in the modern day world, and it's relevant, and it fits. It definitely, there's a place for it. So look forward to many more singles and releases that you guys will be putting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and thanks so much for playing our music and having us on. That's really fantastic for us.
Oh, well, we're glad to do it. It's our pleasure, and thank you so much for reaching out to me to say, hey, would you give my single a listen, and let us know what you think. And, it's I was so happy to be able to do that for you guys, and we'll continue to promote out anything that you guys put down, and want to be heard. So we're glad to do it.
Nice.
Yeah, we really appreciate that.
I'll let you know as soon as that new single drops, it's ready to drop. We just need to release it. It's called Hey
Okay.
And the video, you won't even believe this video. It's pretty out there. And the song is kind of out there too, but I think you're gonna love it, actually.
Well, that's fine. Just send it our way, and when you get the video completed, then I will just let me know, and I'll grab it and put it on our website so our visitors can see it and be connected to you guys and the whole 9 yards. So we're happy to help you guys any way that we can.
Great.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you, and you guys take care, and we will definitely have you back on again as you release more music.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Nice.
All righty. Have a great night.
Yeah, a great pleasure. All
right. Take care and have a great weekend.
All right. Bye, Dawn.
Take it easy, you too. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye, Dawn.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Hi, you've just been listening to Japan Soul, and they're awesome, aren't they? Great, fun group of guys, and they are really going to have, I think, an awesome career. And so we're going to do everything we can here to help, let their music be heard, because it is the kind of music that needs to be heard. It's great stuff. And if you were a fan of the 80s, early 90s, before the 90s really took over and kind of kicked the 80s to the curb, you will love their music, because it's so neat to hear a sound from yesterday, yet it applies to the day. And I love when music artists, are not afraid to take a risk, and even though if it sounds familiar or it takes us back to a time, that is, call me nostalgic if you will, but that's kind of the type of music that I really dig the most, because it's not music that you hear every day anymore, and it's also not the kind of music that you can turn on your radio and hear it anywhere playing, on mainstream radio today. So I'm going to play for you right now the latest single from Japan Soul, and this is Transparent.
He's your big brother. He
right, that is the latest from Japan Soul, and that is their single called Transparent. And if you want to check out Japan Soul, you can check out their website at japansoul.me, and you can get all the information on the band, get all the latest news, where to contact them, and even listen to all their music. Really, really great place. And also, if you want to follow on Twitter, they are at, and this is all caps, JPNSL for Japan Soul. And so they also have a Facebook page, so check them out there. It's JPNSL at Facebook.com. And great band, great group of guys. And so if you like their music and you love 80s sound, they're the band for you, no doubt about it. All right, that is going to wrap our show up for this evening. Coming tomorrow night, we have a great female artist. She's a beautiful pianist, but she has kind of an evanescence, easygoing pop rock sound, very mystical, very eclectic. Her name is Shauna Burns, and we're going to be speaking with her at 7 p.m. Eastern right here. So that is going to do it for this evening. Thank you so much for being our listeners and for always being here to support us. And if you're brand new to our program, welcome aboard. We love to have you back at any time. So we do hope that you will not be a stranger. And with that, I will say good night and hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great Friday and a wonderful weekend. And we'll be right back here again tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Good night, all.
Thanks for listening to tonight's show. You can connect with Jammin Jukebox Radio Show on Twitter at Jammin Jukebox or on Facebook at Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. Check out our website at thejamminjukebox.com. Also, follow us on Blog Talk, where you will be always up to date on every episode as we add it. Each episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always, on iTunes. Thank you for joining us. Tonight's show has been brought to you by One Taste of Main Street Cake Shop, baked from scratch, custom-made cakes and cupcakes, and you'll be hooked. Every cake is made to order with only the finest and freshest ingredients. This is no ordinary bakery. Cakes are never pre-made. Main Street Cake Shop is in demand, having provided cakes and cupcakes for numerous prestigious events, bridal fairs, and venues. Owned and operated by April Murray, she has garnered many awards for not only her exquisite cake designs, but also for their incredible taste. If you're looking for a cake for any occasion, or cupcakes in a variety of flavors, then Main Street Cake Shop is the place. Visit them on the web at mainstreetcakeshop.com.